Oh. Hello everyone. Hi. Sorry I didn't do the live stream yesterday. We didn't get back from doing the grocery shop until what time was it? 8 o'clock. So by the time I come back, if not later, we were absolutely knackered. So I thought may as well do it today instead. Because I think because I'm not sleeping properly, but that's by the by. And it's a little bit cooler today. It's only 18 today. So when I did my live stream on Wednesday, it was still 30 degrees. But we had a storm yesterday, and it brought it down 10 degrees in an hour. So that's degrees Celsius. So if you're unaware, of late, Logan Paul's done two interviews. He's done one on BBC, which is a company over here in the UK called the British Broadcasting Company, or Corporation, and it is actually paid for by us Brits, by our tax dollars and our TV licence. That's a different topic altogether. But we have... I don't think this country is very happy with Logan Paul. Primarily because the BBC did released like a little trailer of the interview that they did, and they got lots of pushback. Now, whether it was specifically because of the interview or specifically because of pushback or a mixture of the two, they're not airing that interview because apparently it was bad. The exact tweet, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but they said when we do an interview, we do try our best to have we listen back to it, and if we like it, then we'll put it on. If we don't, then it doesn't get aired. Well, it didn't get aired. I think it was supposed to be aired this weekend, because I think the fight's today. Let's just double check when's the fight. Logan Paul versus KSI. Oh no, it's not for a month yet. Not for nearly a month yet. It's not till next month. It's in anticipation of the fight and everything, and I think it's a mixture of pushback and the interview was shit that stopped them from releasing the interview. Then it also happened around about the same time. Casey Neistat released a video where he interviewed Logan Paul, and though I haven't watched the video, I did watch Phil yesterday, and he was talking about it, and he was talking about the fact that the video was very wooden, and he was, instead of talking about him as himself, he was talking about himself as a brand, and that the documentary is going to promote him as a brand, and that it's going to make everybody see how nice he really is, and this, that, and the other, and he's going to bet on himself in the fight. And that was in the BBC one, but in the Casey one, it was a lot of the time he's talking about himself as a brand. He was talking about himself as something other than himself. It's like, if I talk about myself, I don't say, "Oh, Simone Young is," and I am a brand. Partially due to YouTube, but also due to the books, which I've been doing longer than I've been doing YouTube. So you do, when you're a public figure in anywhere, you do have to build a brand around yourself, but you still have to be true to yourself, even within the scope of the brand. Because if you don't, then you're just essentially making yourself... You'd end up making yourself sick. It's why so many people burn out. It's why so many people they'll pretend to be this thing online, and then it catches up with them, and eventually they'll get to the point where it's like, I can't do this anymore, I can't do this anymore. It's like, perfect example, Sheiko. For years he was this clean-cut Mormon guy who had this family that he adored, and it was a loving father, and he did this, he did everything for his family. He did creating multiple businesses, most of which is still going now, one of which he doesn't own anymore. But he did all that, and then it came out, I think it was last year, so I think I covered part of it, where he was an alcoholic that was doing sex chats with porn stars and things like that. And it's, human beings are, bear in mind I'm not Christian, but I'm going to say this from a Christian point of view. Human beings are meant to sin, because we're not supposed to be holding ourselves up to that level of standard. And if you see yourself as this exterior thing, where you are the vlogs, you are your books, you are these socialite like Paris Hilton and people like that, then you're just going to make yourself ill, because you're going to burn yourself out, because nobody can live to that level of scrutiny. Nobody can live to that level of, I have to be better than everybody else. I have to be. And eventually, Logan Paul will realise that the level of scrutiny he's giving himself is inhumanly. It's not human to be able to achieve that in any way. And for him to think otherwise is strange. It's like, as much as I love my YouTube and I love my books, I know that the Simone Young you see is me. I do swear, I drink wine, I write horror books, which have some, if you had a queasy stomach, I wouldn't suggest reading them. And I know that when you come here for my opinion, you also come here for my perspective. And in this instance, because I'm British, I have a little bit more of a perspective, because we, in this country, we do have different laws, different rules and things like that. And while the BBC is a company, it is owned by the British public. It's paid for by the British public. While they do run ads, they don't run that many. So when you think of it from that point of view, when the entire country pushes back and say, we don't want a Logan Paul interview, because I don't think I think Logan Paul does have some fans in this country, but not as many as he does in America. I think everything that's happened since they've started amping this fight, it's like they did like a town hall type thing, where they were, sizing each other up and things, and people were booing Logan. They wouldn't let him speak. As soon as they started speaking, they started chanting KSI, Logan's over. And it's like, well, you're in Britain talking about a British YouTuber that has the respect of a lot more Brits than he does, and he's expecting to be given a fair clout. He won't let anybody else do that. Nice wine. But yeah, I haven't watched the Casey video. Apparently Casey did do better this time than he did last time, because he did push back. He did push the envelope in that he asked a lot more questions, and he did ask a lot of the harder questions, a lot of the more personal, a lot of the more questions everybody wants to know the answers to. And he did ask those questions. But I think if Logan Paul's worth he's half the man he purports to be, or half the person he thinks he is, I suggest one of two things. You either do an interview with Philip DeFranco, who has made obvious that he and Logan Paul don't get on, or you let me interview you. And I won't go light on him. As you guys know, I'm going to be nasty when I want to be. And if I need to be, I'll be fucking nasty. Because you don't go into a country and disrespect the entire civilization of that country. It's like me going over to America, burning the flag, which I'd never do. And, you know, shitting on their president, shitting on everything. That's essentially what he was doing in Japan, because he was going over there, he was wearing their clothes, and taking the mickey out of them. He was throwing pokeballs at cars, and he was throwing fish and things at cars in the middle of Japan. And then obviously he did what he did in the suicide forest, but it's just a plain simple fact that he thought it was a good idea to go to Japan and do what he did. Nope. And it's like, oh yeah, but that was like months ago. And it's like, yeah, that was like 7 months ago. Nearly 8. But you still did it. You still fucked up. So, sorry mate. But you've only got yourself to blame. Like I say, I have a lot of respect for people who do things, and when they mess up, they very clearly realise that they've messed up and act appropriately. But when you're talking about the likes of Logan Paul, who don't clearly realise that they fucked up and how they fucked up and why they fucked up, that pisses me off. Oh, I'll tell you. Oof. But yeah, all the joy. So it's just a place of the fact that he thinks he's ever so smart and he's ever so awesome and he's ever so brilliant, and it's like, no, you're an arse, and you really clearly have no common decency. You have no idea what it is like to be human. Shut up. And you have no idea what it's like to do things like you did. You traumatized kids by showing what you did. You put online something which you should never have put online, not to as many children as you have following you. It's like, if you'd educated the video straight away because of what the content is, then fine. Or if he had actually said, this is what I want to do, and he told YouTube beforehand and they gave him the best way to do it, then fine. But he handled it so cavalier, so it was like, oh, you're not going to believe what we found, and you're not going to believe what we saw, and you're not going to believe what happened. And it's like, you ensured what you ensured on YouTube, and you expect people to say, oh, good on you, Logan. Fuck off. And he's like, oh, I did it for suicide prevention. Did you? Fuck. Go ahead and screw yourself, because you didn't. You and your friends standing there laughing. It's like, people say, yeah, but that was like months ago, and it's like, yeah, but it's still relevant. The guy clearly has no idea how to be human. And talking about himself in the third person, and talking to himself like he's a brand rather than an actual person, just proves how much he really doesn't understand anything. He sees himself as a brand more than as a human being, which I think is more down to his father, and it is a sad thing, but I would have thought that he's old enough, and the last year would have made him go, hold on a second. You know what I mean? It pisses me off. It pisses me off. So yeah. Oh, Jay. I'm going to log off before I start really swearing. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It really is. How he expects to be able to get away with everything all the time. Really have no idea how he thinks he can get away with everything. Oh well. So, I'm going to log off and calm myself down before I get some work done. Because I've still got book edits to do. It's got to be with the bosses by the end of the next week, by Friday, I think. It's by Friday. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, next Saturday. It's got to be the editors by next Saturday. So that's next week. I've also got stuff to do for Comic-Con because I've got some moulds and stuff for resin. So I'm going to do some Daleks and stuff. I'm going to do some keyrings, I think. And I've got Daleks, TARDISes, and what's the other one? Okay, now, because I'm using silicone mould I already had for him downstairs. He's doing a lot better. He's done a week of 8 hours this week. So he's getting there. He's getting a lot stronger, and he's eating a lot better. He's managing everything a lot better. He's still recovering, and he's still coming to terms with everything, but he's getting there. Bless him. Anyway, so I'm going to log off and calm myself down. Next week, we shall see if anything major happens. Hopefully not, but this is the internet, something always happens. And then we'll go from there. I am still doing the Onision videos. It's just like I said, because of everything that's going on with him, and because we've had extraordinarily high heats. I've not really had a chance because I can't record. Because when I record, it's the highest temperature, and my camera doesn't like it, and I'm literally sweating buckets when it's at the hottest. But like I say, at the minute it's kind of hovering around 20, which is still hot for the UK, but it's a lot less than it was. So, yeah, we were in the car yesterday and it was hailstoning while we were in the car. They were big, but they weren't that big. We got to about that big. Well, that's big enough. Thank you very much. So, stay safe, be good, have fun. And I will definitely see you on Wednesday. And hopefully, once the temperature reduces a bit better, we'll be able to go back to videos. Weekly live streams, because I think it's not going to be long before he's back on nights again. So I know they want him to do a late, not next week, the week after. So we shall see. I've still got stuff to do for Comic-Con because that's 2 weeks tomorrow. So I've still got stuff to do for that. So that's fun. But some of it I can't do until next weekend because I get my new cover next weekend. So it's like... So... So I will see you Wednesday.